What's up, everybody? Big D coming to you from the 505 Summer Lounge, aka not quite the Tundra Lounge. What a cold day today it is. Oof, oof. Oh, good. I did fix the issue with Facebook, so now the names appear. I was working on that early this morning, trying to get that to go. So, Robert, welcome. Thank you. I'm excited for tonight's show. Great show tonight. James Wilroy from Unwrappd App will be here. He'll talk about the social media and digital cigar journal platform that or application that he's a part of out there, which I think it sounds like a great thing. He's going to walk us by step about it. I'm going to download it and follow along with him as we go through, because we're in this time of especially social media censorship against the cigar and smoking community out there, and having our own place where we don't have to worry about being censored or blacklisted or shadow banned. I think is a great thing. So I'm really excited to talk to James about the app on that. But before I bring James on, reminder to everybody, please go click the link tree that's pinned in the chat in YouTube or down in the description on all the social media platforms there. Go support my advertisers, sponsors, and preferred retail partners. They help continue to keep the programming going on the show, and your support goes a long way. So make sure you use the exclusive promo codes that are only available to my viewers out there when you check out. Save yourself some coinage. I want you to. And I know you want to save money, so save yourself some money by doing that. Also, if you won any giveaway from me, I have been so busy, I've not had an opportunity to get all that out. And more than likely, all your stuff's going to go out when I come back from Dallas during the weekend. So I apologize about the delay, but I will get everything out to everybody. It's just been a hectic time the last 2 weeks for me. So I do apologize. But I will get everything out. And if any of you are going to be in Dallas for Dallas Smoke Fest, let me know. I will bring your stuff with me to Dallas, and I'll just give it to you personally. If you're not, don't worry about it. But I will get everything shipped out by the beginning of next week. All right. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest of tonight, who will be sitting in telling us all about the Unwrappd App. Anthony, welcome, brother. Mr. James Wilroy, welcome, sir.
Hey, Daniel, how are you? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you coming on. James, well, I'll hand it over to you while I get my cigar lit and you kind of tell people about you and the app.
Well, my name is James Wilroy. I'm the marketing director with the Unwrappd App. We are a social media platform and digital cigar journal. We started this project actually about 3 years ago. When our CIO, Misha Kononov, was texting back and forth with some friends. He was actually sitting on the patio. I think it was outside of the King Corona Lounge in Ybor City, watching the chickens run by. And there was a question in the text chat with his friends and family about whether he smoked a certain cigar and what he thought of it. And he said to himself, well, I think I have, but it was probably so long ago I can't find it in this darn text chat. And one of the people in the chat said, well, Misha, you're a programmer. Why don't you just build an app that can do that? And so he kind of put that in his pocket and said, that's a good idea, but do we actually have the resources to be able to do it? And how would we go about doing it, knowing how the app platforms feel about tobacco? For those people who don't know, both Apple and Google have explicit prohibitions on the promotion and facilitation of the sale of tobacco. That means if you in any way promote the sale of tobacco or try to promote its use, you will get banned. They'll kick you off the platform. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, with that in mind, Misha, continue to think about this, and he brought the idea after a few months to our leadership and said, I think we have an app idea here. And I think that we can move forward with it. Just as a preliminary, a reading of the terms of use of both Apple and Google in terms of their App Store development. I think that we have a way forward here. And so eventually they greenlit the project, and that was about the same time that I was brought on board with a company, a larger company called Knowledge Bridge International. Unwrapped App is actually a line of business within Knowledge Bridge International. So I was coming on to be the marketing director for the company, and we had been talking back and forth about about the potential of Unwrapped, and about my research. I was very cautious about recommending for them to move forward, mostly because I knew specifically about these prohibitions. I was a longtime user of the Drew Diplomat app. I was aware of the Cigar Aficionado lounge locator. Other things like Cigar Dojo. I was aware around the cigar industry about the apps that had been kicked off of the app. In fact, I went to try to download Cigar Scanner. It was gone. So I was pretty skeptical, but that the guys thought there was a path forward with the terms of use. Okay, so what was the path forward? The path forward was this beautiful thing or confusing thing called U.S. Code 47 U.S. Code Section 230. Section 230 of U.S. Code 47 says that social media platforms do not need to moderate or monitor or control speech that is not profane or illegal. So if you've ever wondered how someone is able to post to, say, for example, a Meta-based social media and show a picture of a cigar, despite the fact that we know that that particular company and others like them aren't particularly fans of tobacco, they're able to do that because on the app, as long as that content isn't illegal or obscene, then they don't have to moderate that content. So if I log into my Instagram, I can look at the 505 Cigar Review page and see pictures of you, Daniel, posting your nice boutique cigars. Well, why is that? We know that they don't like it. Okay, well, they're not going to moderate that content, because if they moderate that content, then there's an expectation that they're going to moderate other content. So we started out Unwrapped with the specific intention of building a social media app designed for cigar smokers. So that's what we built. We went through the beta stage, and actually we launched in 2013, 2 days before the PCA cigar show. I was going to the cigar show to talk to people about what the potential of Unwrapped was, and we were lucky to be accepted in the App Store just before the show. So that kind of initiates the first level of Unwrapped, which is the fact that it's a social media. There's a social media feed, a main feed that scrolls just like any other social media app would expect, with cigar pictures and everything else like that. But one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that it was cigar focused. So for every share, what we call a post inside the app, there's a designation that you need to designate a cigar line. So basically, you need to designate a cigar to post in the main feed of the app. So I've got to select a brand, a line, and I can select a Vitola if I want. But I have to have a brand and a line, because we wanted it always to be focused on the cigar. We want to make sure that people are initiating that conversation from the cigar itself. And we saw how the interactions were within other apps, that even though you have a dedicated space, typically you have people who don't want to follow the line and want to kind of veer the conversation to something else. And that may be something as innocuous as spirits or something of that nature. But the reality is, we wanted a social media app specifically for cigar smokers, and for them to be able to discuss and share with their friends and other people on the app around the cigars. So that's kind of the first impetus of the app. But what we noticed after launching Unwrapped was that very quickly we saw that the initial power users of the app weren't using the app necessarily purely for social media purposes. They were using it essentially as a cigar journal. They were logging their cigars so they could see, time after time after time, what they had smoked and what they thought about it. So we're kind of thinking to ourselves and saying, well, if that's kind of how people kind of perceive how to use the app, why don't we build a digital cigar journal functionality into that? Now, Daniel, I'm at an age where when I first started smoking cigars back in 1992, a few years ago, the first thing that I received after kind of getting into it a little bit was someone handed me an Arango cigar dossier. So for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a nice little book with a place that you can paste the band. You can write about the cigar. You can do your tasting notes and everything like that. And so you've got this nice little hardbound book that holds all of your your cigar notes. Well, I grew up in an age where computers weren't necessarily the thing that you always had around. It's something that maybe you went to a computer lab to use, or maybe if you were lucky, you had a desktop computer at your house. We certainly didn't have a computer constantly with us attached to our hip.
Yeah.
And so, I'm thinking to myself, well, as I first started learning cigars, I journaled. And the realities are that the younger generation of cigar smokers are not going to take off their bands, paste in a book, and write in a book. That's just not how that's really not really realistically how they engage. How they engage is through technology. So to be able to build a digital cigar journal where people can not only log what they're smoking, be able to share that with other people, but specifically for people under the age of 30 who really are engaged really heavily in technology in their daily lives. The opportunity for the newer cigar smokers, those newly turned 21-year-olds to the 30-year-olds, as they kind of gain in their careers and have a little bit more coinage in their pocket. I like your term, by the way. It does give them the opportunity to define and refine their palettes through the process of journaling and doing it in a way in which they engage that they're used to engaging, and that's through apps. So we developed the cigar journal portion of the app, and I think that that's something that a lot of our longtime users really appreciate, especially when they're talking about the second or third time that they smoke a cigar. Because I know a lot of guys who like variety, but I know a lot of guys who like variety who also like to revisit their best their favorites and the best hits.
Yeah.
So to go back and revisit something and say, was this the same experience that I had when I smoked the same cigar 6 months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Or was there something around the spirit that I was drinking, the meal that I had, the actual environment, cool, hot, that made that particular experience? And now that I'm trying it in a different environment, maybe with different surroundings, that changed the experience. So that I think gives us a lot of benefit as it relates to the refining of the palate and kind of understanding what we like and what we don't like in cigars.
I get you. And of course, I also do too journal all my cigars.
Yes.
And all this glorious paper.
A lot of trees died in the process of making that journal.
A lot. I've got 5 4-inch binders filled that have basically every cigar I've smoked since 2001.
Yeah. So as we kind of continued with the app in terms of their development, one of the things we realized is that we needed some level of engagement within the app. So we added a small level of gamification. You can get a band, not a badge, a band for your first share, for a 3-day streak, and then milestones from that. So like 25, 50, 100, 250, 500 shares. So, the opportunity to have some level of recognition when you reach certain mileposts, I think is very important for people to kind of recognize that, that people can see in your usage that you've reached certain significant milestones. I think that gives a certain level of that gives a certain level of visibility to users as they continue to use the app. The
Okay.
final functionality we added, and I think this is very important, especially as we're coming up upon Thanksgiving and Christmas and through the holidays, is that we added a wish list function. And a wish list function can be seen by anybody who you're friends with.
Okay.
So you can throw up to 10 cigars in your wish list. And if anybody's friends with you on the app, then they can go and see your wish list and say, for example, they're thinking, Daniel, I need to get you a Christmas gift. Uh, what would you like to? Oh, I don't want to ask you about what you want for Christmas. I want to actually go find something that I think you'll like. But if you use that wish list and you're giving people kind of a hint of what you're looking for, now it may not be purely just a gift giving opportunity. It may
Okay.
be you the user saying, "Hey, I walked into a humidor and I was really in a hurry, and they had a new stick, or they had a stick that I hadn't seen, but I want to try the next time I go into that humidor. I can go and add that to my wish list, and so when I go in, I can say to the I can say to the tobacconist or the retail assistant, "Hey, I was in here the last time, and do you still have this cigar?" You can actually kind of show them the app and say, "Hey, do you have this?" And so it kind of gives you that mental memory aid to say, "Hey, this was a cigar I wanted to pick up the next time I'm in this shop." And I don't know how many times I've visited a shop and said, "Hey, I want to pick up that stick the next time I'm in." And I'll go into that shop 4 times before I remember, "Hey, I wanted to pick up that stick the next time I was in that shop."
And that happens to everybody. You get sidetracked when you're like, you got to remember to buy that, and then you forget because you see something else you want.
Right. And then the last thing we've added, and we're just in the process of building it out, is a groups functionality. So that you're able to have public and private groups within the app. That now you're able to have a message board.
Okay.
In terms of so you could have a 505 cigar review group within Unwrapped, and so people can join that, and then have the opportunity that you could post information about the show, or specifically the cigar that you're going to smoke tonight, and enter that information so people can see what you're going to smoke, and then they can actually comment on it as you're kind of reviewing or going through that smoke. Give an opportunity to have some levels of feedback. We think that this is very valuable for the brands themselves to have a little bit more of an intimate interaction with their customers, especially those people who are aficionados of the brands. For retailers, just an opportunity for them to be able to throw up into a group upcoming events. Throw an ad for a cut and light. And so people who that are following them, or in that group on the Unwrapped app, they can actually see kind of the upcoming events, and then kind of give some feedback about whether they're going to attend or not. And
Okay.
then we're going to continue to build those things out. The one thing that we have limited right now, and we're in the process actually in this next programming cycle, is to be able to make those groups publicly searchable. And by making them publicly searchable, that would make an administrator like yourself able to tell people to go out and search this group, and then be able to request in to the group. As it stands right now, basically, you're introducing your friends into specific groups. And so, we've seen through the first couple iterations of this that we need to certainly make it more public, just so it's a little easier for people who administer larger groups, especially brands, specifically media entities, to give them the opportunity to interact with people without having to know everybody that wants to be a part of the group.
So, have you had conversations with retail shops about this, or showed them the app, and trying to get the retailer or retail side a bit more active on the app? For like you said, they don't really have, you don't have the groups feature up yet, but
Right.
at least for promotion of cutting lights and promote, or at least, hey, look at what's new in shop, type thing.
Absolutely. We're actually in the process of reaching out to some beta testers in the retail space to be able to go and do that. I'm actually meeting with a bunch of people, a bunch of retailers in Miami here next week. And that's one of the conversations I want to have, is how do we engage at a retail level a little bit more specifically with these groups. I think ultimately is going to be important. Although we know that the retail industry is kind of in a transition period where we have a large segment of that population who are not technology adverse, but they're slow to adopt technology simply because they've done the vast majority of their career without technology. The knowing your customers, knowing their names, knowing what they smoke, and implementing digital things sometimes gets in the way of kind of their processes. Although we do have a new generation of retailers who are much younger and much more technologically involved, and trying to engage those people, especially early in their retail time and their ownership of their shops, is going to be increasingly important.
Okay. Well, I get it. I the big thing, I think the big selling point, especially for the community as a whole out there, is the censorship aspect on all of the social media platforms out there.
Yes.
Look, I'm fully aware on Instagram, I'm completely shadow banned. I
Oh,
I I, I know it because there's no way that I have a post that every post has less than 100 likes on it when I got 6,000 people who follow me, and you're telling me that I'm that far down on the list. And I
yes.
know that there are people who I follow that I don't see their content unless I search them out. There's no longer available to me, and
Yeah.
I think that they've messed with the algorithm enough that even now, if I go and like 500 posts from a person, they're still not moving up the top of my list on there. So the ability to be able to see people who I want to see, I think is important out there, because uh, I found that even though Meta owns Instagram, on that, I get far more interactions and tractions off of Facebook than I do off of
Yes.
Instagram. And for some reason, Facebook has decided to promote me out there further and further more, but their Instagram side has decided they're going to push me down.
I think Daniel, that it's a twofold thing. One, you're correct about the shadow banning. I don't know one uh, cigar professional who really can go viral. Now, I know some influencers, and I think we both know some influencers who can get relatively high like counts, but no one's hitting a 1 million post, and I don't care what they're posting. So we know that the within those platforms, that specifically the images of tobacco are gonna cause some throttling. And then we also know that they tell us, for the purposes of their algorithm, they want us to hashtag things. Well, we know that cigar aficionado, and anything with cigar, or the leaf in it, and it's the wrong kind of leaf. Um, that is automatically be throttled.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because cigar smoking is a very social thing.
Yes.
I mean, it can be a solitary thing, but it's very much a social thing. I prefer to smoke in the cigar lounge with the guys, and talk about sports, and a little less with the politics. But you sit around and you talk about things, and you laugh at the quarterback who threw the stupid interception, and you're smoking a cigar and you're having fun. To take that away from the technical element, and these platforms who people are really using for social engagement, and to be able to essentially remove that, not officially remove it, but essentially by all strikes and measures, remove it, you know, we don't have the opportunity to interact the way we would. And so
No.
that's another reason why we really focus on, the social media feed within Unwrapped. You're not going to get throttled. You're not going to get slowed down. In fact, we built the algorithm so that it has a proximity and recency factor to it, which means that, for example, if we're friends, I'm going to see your post before I'm going to see something in the general feed. And the more friends we have in common, the higher that proximity goes up, that high proximity factor goes up. The other thing is recency. I mean, so I'm going to see things from, my friends with lots of proximity, maybe a couple days old, but then the next thing I'm going to see is things that are new, but it's still going to be a proximity factor. So what we want to do is be able to create that opportunity for people to develop relationships within the app, whether that's in the main feed itself or whether that's within the groups.
How many active users are on the app now, or at least an estimate?
There are about 1,000 total users, but
Okay.
I would say that of those 1,000, we're probably about 200, 250 active users.
Okay. So
So,
you got a few. There's a few out there. So it's just now at this point now it's about getting the word out
right.
to sign up and stop the censorship. That's out there. Yeah, it's the one thing I don't quite understand. Out there. With between the two meta platforms, between YouTube, between YouTube, LinkedIn, and Rumble out there, the censorship is varied from what they do. Where Facebook, like I said earlier, Facebook doesn't seem to censor me or blackball me, shadow ban me in any way. It's there, and I get far more engagement than on Instagram, where I've got far more people. Where LinkedIn, I don't really have. I'm not really up on that feed because I don't really post, pictures that I post on Instagram or Facebook on there. I use it more as a promotional tool, so I don't really have the growth there, but I use it as more as a tool to YouTube, which, oh boy, does YouTube love to come after the cigar community, and Rumble, which says do whatever you want, just don't hurt anybody.
Right.
And in fact, Rumble goes, oh, by the way, we'll monetize you too. So go ahead. There's just this difference. There's no set standard between any of the social media platforms out there. And I'm not saying that they should, but there should be at least consistency between them all.
Yeah, and what I find is interesting is that you look at the treatment of the cigar industry as it relates to social media, to spirits and beer, as it relates to even something like marijuana. I mean, I can go on the App Store right now and I can find dozens and dozens and dozens of apps to tell me where the closest dispensary is to my house. And whether you think that's right or wrong, the realities is that the social media platforms are picking winners and losers.
Oh, of course they are. Look, Google is not a fan of anything ATF, and
No.
that's fine if they want to do that. But Google also has no problems, because YouTube has no problems going on to any of my videos and putting ads on my videos. And most of the ads they put on my video are alcohol-based ads.
Yes.
To go with it. But they're monetizing off of my content that they don't allow me to monetize off of.
Right.
As much as they hate that content out there, they've got no problem doing it themselves, because, hey, do as I say, not as I do.
Well, it's just because there's a market opportunity doesn't mean they're not going to take it.
Oh yeah.
So that, that's just, it's just the realities of business. It's unfortunate, again, because there isn't a public space where we as cigar smokers can go and interact with the general public. I mean, we are literally, at that, that little smoke hut off to the, 40 feet from the front of the hotel entrance, a park bench with a leaky roof. You're kind of sitting there, and that's where you have to be in social media. So we had to go and build it ourselves. And so, one of the hardest things for me, and you mentioned it in terms of users, is just getting the word out. I mean, because the cigar industry is a very relational industry, and you know this. People learn from word of mouth, but in order to get word of mouth, you've got to go out and you've got to meet people, and you've got to get people excited about your product. And so I'm going to, we met at Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. And so to go and to go and do that event, and be able to to be able to interact with the people at that event is very impactful in terms of being able to acquire new users. But doing things like this, the ability to evangelize to a larger audience, especially one that's not geographically fixed, is absolutely critical, because the reality is that this is how apps of this nature work. This is how Vivino started. This is how Untap started. This is how, basically, the apps that are similar in terms of space, but in different sectors, they've all kind of started from that same way. It was literally kind of, hand-to-hand combat in terms of, getting people to kind of understand what you're trying to do, and then being able to get people engaged and get them excited about your product.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean that's the only way to go. Have you had conversations with manufacturers and brands,
Yeah,
about this? And I mean, what's been their take about it?
well, I will tell you that there are manufacturers who are very excited about this, because they kind of see that this is where this is where the industry is moving. They're moving more and more towards social. Excuse me. And then there are other manufacturers who are less excited. We try to engage with all the manufacturers to get their catalog, to get all their lines information, to use their official visualizations, use their company descriptions within the app, because we think that accurate information leads to a better user experience.
Mm-hmm.
So there are companies out there who I've engaged with 5, 6, 7 times about just trying to get their collateral. And it's a constant struggle to want to get them to engage, because they really don't understand what we're talking about. They don't understand the importance of it, because realistically, most of these companies have an established customer base. And they really don't need to focus a lot of energy on new user acquisition, because they've got an established base, they've got their space in the humidor, and the new guys will kind of learn it as they kind of go in. Now, I'm not saying that that's good or bad. What I'm saying is that the recognition of the importance of technology in terms of the new customer base. I think that some of these companies have kind of missed the ball, and just kind of said, we're going to throw some ads up on social media. We're going to engage in some some websites, and whether that be blog sites or things of that nature. The reality is that the younger you are, the more likely you're going to engage on a 6 by 3.5 inch device.
Well, yeah. Look, I can see where your big brands, your legacy brands, heritage brands, they're not interested in something like that, because, as you stated, they already have their built-in audience and out there. But I can really see the smaller brands digging into this, because it's a far better promotional tool for them to get the word out of what they have, because they can't compete. They can't compete advertising wise with the big boys out there. And I think the smaller brands, especially like on Instagram, have really owned it, because a lot of these brands are younger people who have started the brands. They have that technological background to them, and they've been able to capitalize, which I think is why you've seen sustaining success from a lot of these
Yes.
smaller brands out there when they started, whereas prior to really 2019, 2018, they kind of come and go, but they've been able to dig their heels in and really set forth a standard out there on how it's been done. And now you're seeing some of the bigger brands out there trying their hand at it, but they're not good at it because they've waited way too long to dig in on really embracing the social media aspect. And I think that's one reason why a lot of these smaller brands out there have taken a lot of the market space out there is because they've been able to promote properly. They've been able to get the word out. They've been able to talk to people. They've been able to really capitalize on some of the bigger social media people out there and getting the product in their hands to show off to people out there. Here you go. XYZ brand is fantastic. Right. Look at what I'm smoking. It drives those people to their page, to their website.
You see this with brands that do a lot of this guerrilla marketing campaigning, getting people excited on social media, engaging with people, and so they become the new it brand. And it's because they really are touching that nerve in terms of being able to engage people much more quickly and much more where they are, as opposed to just kind of relying upon kind of what their traditional brand is in the humidor and the humidor position. I think it's been great, and by no means, Daniel, am I bashing anybody. It's just a recognition of that. Some people view this as differently, and it is different engagement. I have the same. I have similar issues when I talk with retailers. Some retailers get it right away, and other retailers are like, yeah, that's not going to be a thing.
No, and look, I know that there are retail shops out there that still like to do things old school. They have not embraced the internet or social media. That's just not where they're at. But the newer shops that are opening up have jumped on full tilt because they understand that power. They understand the power of what that brings. And they also understand that there are people out there on these platforms that can help drive business to them. Because how many times do I smoke a cigar and you read the comments, where can I get that?
Yes.
If I know shops that have it and they have a social media presence, I'm tagging them in the comment. You can buy it from XYZ shop. They have it. They sell. They ship. It's there. It expands the world out, so people have that opportunity to also enjoy what they're seeing others enjoying out there. I look. I'm technologically stupid, but I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And so I understand how to go. I understand I'm shadow banned. I understand what I got to do. And hey, every now and then I get a post that blows up a little bit. I'm happy about it. But I've also accepted the fact that, you know what? I'm just going to have to relegate that, of the 6,000 people who are following me, 80 people are going to see what I'm posting. And that's just how it is. And hopefully, and I appreciate everybody who also shares my stuff on their feed, because then that drives people to come back to my posts out there. So I appreciate it. Look, promotion is free. It doesn't cost anything to help somebody out.
Let me tell you why the collateral is so important for us. Is that we're adding as I mentioned, we're adding that imagery, we're adding that brand official description of their cigar in the app. So an app user has that imagery and that information with them constantly. They don't have to go to 14 or 15 different websites to go and find information about a cigar. They have that information in their pocket. They can go and look it up. And if I want to go and look and see what an Aventura Blue Eye Jack's Revenge looks like, I want to be able to go in the app and be able to search that cigar, to be able to pull that image up and say, oh, it's got a blue band and it's it's got a kind of an oily medium brown wrapper. Okay, so I know that I kind of know I kind of know what I'm talking about, and I can get the manufacturer's description of that, so I can know what the manufacturer wants me to know about that. So it's very much consumer education from that perspective, and it also again improves the accuracy within the sharing of the app.
Yeah, I think that it's great, and I think it's also great for. We talked about this earlier. Those newer smokers and this newer generation of smokers out there. I feel that this is something that they would really embrace, whether they journal or not. But they always have questions, and to really get that question answered immediately, I think is brilliant because it's there. But you also have to rely on the manufacturers to also want to be on board with it, and I can see why some don't want to be, but I can also see why a lot would.
Yeah, and again, it's trying to improve the customer experience. It's trying to educate and trying to facilitate the overall process of people, enjoying cigars and being able to share that with their friends. One of the things that I think that people will enjoy with the Unwrapped app is that you'll actually see the ratings of the cigars. You'll see an aggregation of how many times it's been shared, what the aggregate rating is. You'll be able to, if you select on a cigar on a specific cigar or cigar line, you'll be able to scroll down and see every share related to that particular cigar.
And that's the user based reviews on that, based upon the member or the users of the app and what they rate and what they feel the cigar.
Correct.
Okay.
We think this is actually important, and this is one of the things in terms of our business model, and I want to be transparent about that. Is one of the things that we want to do with this information is be able to provide that information back to the industry, both to retailers and to manufacturers. We want to show them what the unsolicited feedback is about their product. If there's a 92 point rated cigar on some publication, but when people actually smoke it, they're having a construction issue, or whatever that may be, the smoking experience is less than that. And so you have you have the experts who are saying this is a great cigar, but when people actually smoke it and spend their money in the humidor, they're having a lesser user experience. Then certainly the manufacturers need to know that.
So I need a special rating system for me, though. You know that, right?
No.
I need drool. I need drool bucket worthy.
Oh, I don't know if I can get that on the next programming cycle, but I can certainly ask.
I need that, because if I'm going to rate a cigar, does it warrant the drool bucket? Because that is the highest honor I can bestow upon a cigar.
So, you think the viewers would like to see the app?
I think the people would. People bring it up, because I'm going to download the app and I'm going to follow along here with James.
All right. Well, I will let you download the app and get to the sign-in process, because that will actually take you about 2 minutes.
All right, and I'm just going to search Unwrapped App in the App Store, correct?
Correct. There's no
there it is
before the D.
I got it. Okay.
So you can sign in the app. You can use your email. You can also use your Apple ID, Google sign up.
Well, good luck with me trying to remember all that.
Yeah.
Good luck. I don't know what it is. All right. So let's see here. Let's go. All right. So let's see. I want to sign up for a new account.
Okay. Correct.
All right. Let me put my email address in here. Does he? Yes, right, Henry. We get we.
That's funny.
That's right. Mm.
Well,
Am I gonna be allowed to do my half wheel reviews?
absolutely.
That's right. You will all love the clubbed baby seal fat that is rendered perfectly. The Antarctic cinnamon is divine and provides a nice stench to the nostrils.
No. Now, when you talk about vanilla, is it Madagascar vanilla? Is it Mexican vanilla?
Oh, well, that depends. I think I got to go with. I think I have got to go with Congolese.
Congolese.
That's right. From the Vashutu tribe, where their vanilla plants have that pungent smell from the 35-pound elephant dung manure that they use. All right, put my birthday in.
Yep, because it is actually age locked. We did set the 21-year age limit. We do tell people who are under the age of 21 that because we're dealing with tobacco-based products, that we want to make sure that we're at least within the minimum compliance with the the demonstrating to the minors
Sure.
bad habits. I guess that's what they would call it. Contributing to delinquency of a minor.
That's right. We don't want to do that.
No.
I'm having a hard time typing. I'm creating my username.
Okay.
All right. Next. Okay. My gender. All right. Today I feel like I'm a male.
Okay.
All right.
We'll go with
your expertise level.
Yes.
Industry professional?
Yes. I would go with industry professional.
Okay. All right.
You are known in the industry, my friend. You have been known to be professional.
There's a question in there. I'll let you answer that one here while I get.
Could this app perhaps hold 180 plus facings? You mean, Henry, are you talking about 180 different cigars, vitolas, and things of that nature?
Yeah, I don't.
You can certainly post, an infinite number of cigars within the app. And you can load in the vitolas and things of that nature. So I'm thinking that's where you're going, but certainly it should be able to.
All right. I'm getting there. All right. Let's see.
So I will for Henry. I'll make sure that I'll scroll through my cigar journal so you can see that I think I have over 210, and I'm by far not the leader in the clubhouse. My friend Walter has posted probably close to 700 cigars in the app.
All right. Let's see here.
What screen are you on there, Daniel?
I'm in the profile section. I was just setting a photo.
Oh, nice.
On there. I'm trying to
class up the joint.
There we go. All right.
Excellent.
All right. I'm all right. I'm all set. I'm on the app. I'm on the home screen.
All right, I'm going to go to share my screen here. I'm going
All
to
right.
go and mirror my phone here.
Okay. There we go.
Go away, thank you. So you see here in Unwrapped from the very first part when you launch it, I got to get the feed to load, of course, and my internet will not like the fact that I'm mirroring. So at the very top of the screen, what you see is any announcements we have. And we just recently released version 4.0.2. So just kind of look at the information there, and then I can get rid of it. So then it's gone, and I won't see another announcement again until a new release or a new announcement is pushed. And then we just kind of scroll through and kind of see the feed.
Okay.
You'll notice that as opposed to a thumbs up, we did something a little bit more thematic with our quote unquote likes. We call them lights. So there's a nice little flame there, so you can light the cigar. If you really like that thing.
Okay.
So if I'm my friend here, Kentucky Rob, gonna light his cigar, and if I want, I can go and comment or look at a comment within that. So my friend Half Bean, I'm going to like his cigar, and he had a rainy day, and I'm just going to comment, glad you enjoyed.
Oh, I found James on here. I'm gonna add James as a friend. There you go. Friend request.
At James or at Joss.
Yep, I found you. You were first one up on the screen here. All right. Let me give you a flame. There you go.
Excellent. So then, you just have that process, the quote of the comment. You can respond back and forth with the comments, same as as you would expect within any social media. Up in the upper right-hand corner, I kind of have my control panel, so I can go and control my profile. So there I am, James Wilroy at Jazz. I live in Wichita. I'm an industry professional, or maybe unprofessional, depending upon who you talk to. And then I can kind of see the number of friends. I got 62. I'm not sure the friends are actually that high, but I have 62 people who say they're my friends. My wish list. So you can kind of see the seven cigars I have there on my wish list, and then the bands that I've earned. And so just kind of show what we got going on there. If I hit the band, you can actually kind of see, what I got going on there. So that's kind of cool. Then below that are my notifications. What notifications do I have in the app? So people have tagged me within the app. And so Rob Summerall and Two Cigar and Cigar Matt and have all tagged me. And so if I click on one of those, it will actually take me to where that feed, where that is in the feed within those notifications. So you would expect that from your notifications to be able to go and do that. And then below that, I also have friends. So I have B. Gunning, who has requested that I be a friend. And I have to make a very hard decision whether I want to accept him or not accept him. I actually held this up here for a couple of days just to make sure that I had a friend request that I could show, and I can accept that. Oh, and some 505 cigar review guy just requested to be my friend too, and
yeah.
I like everybody. So, and then from that, we kind of have the about information about the app. So if you want to kind of get some information about Unwrapped, there it is. If you ever wanted to know where our logo came from, the smoking chicken, as I mentioned, the app was conceptualized in Ybor City, watching the chickens kind of run by the feet. So we decided to adopt the smoking chicken as our logo.
Getting quite a few people here. Henry says, "Holy smokes, this is cool." On there, Chris says he's downloading the app right now.
Excellent. I like to hear that.
It's good. Yeah, I know Henry. It was quick here. I just took a photo here, and I'm gonna share it on the screen. Uh,
Can you share while I'm sharing?
I didn't set it up to do that.
Uh-oh.
So I set it up so you could screen share on your end.
Yeah. So the next thing here, and I think it's very important, is that we very much want user feedback.
So
So
when it
we've actually
says
built.
please select a line for your share. So what, I have to give this a title?
No, you click that and then you search in the search bar. I'll show you that here in just a second.
Okay.
You search in the search bar for this particular cigar. Here, let me come off the screen share for a second, and I can always come back to it. See if you want to share what you got going on there. Or I can just walk through with everybody the share here in just a second.
That didn't work out the way I wanted it to. That don't look good.
Oh, darn it.
Let's redo this here. Let's make this look way better. Oh, you went off the screen. I was taking a picture with that on there.
Oh, I can throw that back up there.
All right.
Back to the screen share.
Let me bring you back on the screen.
So I'm just going to run through this here really quick in terms of the actual sharing. So you'll notice that under the share, have the ability to add a photo, so I can actually go to my gallery and I can select pictures, or I can actually use my camera.
Okay.
Because I tend to frame in a very specific way, I tend to use my gallery so I can have the edit function on my phone. But in order to do the actual share itself, under the line you'll see that little pencil. You click the little pencil, and that's going to bring up the search lines. And then I'm just going to type in the cigar I'm going to share is a Café. So I'm going to look for his Sumatra. Yes. So now I've got the Sumatra from Café 1901. Then I'm going to go and select my photo from my gallery. That's the picture I want. Now I can actually go and add, as it says in the image, up to 4 images for the sharing. So I can share a picture of who I'm smoking with, what I'm drinking with it, and and any other scenery that I might want to have. Or for those guys who like to take pictures of their cigars and show the stages of the cigars, what it looked like in the first third, second, at the halfway point, and then towards the end. You can also kind of do a staging of the cigar. So now I have that come up. I'm going to save it. So the next thing I need to do now is to be able to rate my cigar. And just so happens that Café Sumatra is one of my favorite cigars. I personally think it, as I will type here.
My cigar's not on your list.
Okay. So down at the bottom, scroll down. And you'll see no line not found. Let me just exit out of this really quick. There.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, so everyone will see down at the bottom of that list is a don't see your line. If you click the don't see your line, what this will do is it'll allow the user to be able to go and manually enter the line for their own purposes. Now you'll notice the little note here that allowing users to submit new lines is a new feature. You'll be able to share this new line, but others will not until we've been able to verify the information. Lines that cannot be verified may be deleted, leading to a loss of the shared experience with the line. So the reason why we do this is sometimes people mistype, or sometimes they don't know the exact spelling of a cigar, and so they don't see it the way they think that they're going to see it, and so they just create a new line. They go and manually enter it, a brand, and and then we go back in and do the checking and realize, hey, this was not X cigar. This is he actually meant to type this. This brand exists. We're going to go in and edit that, and we're not going to add this incorrect spelling to the list.
Okay, so I tagged you in the photo.
Excellent.
And just did my very first post, and my cigar went out. So let's relight my cigar. All right. I gotta say, it's kind of cool. And then again, I'm technologically stupid, so it took me a little while to figure it out. I'm sure some of you smart people out there will have this pegged in 5 minutes.
Right. And Daniel, as you know, and the next thing I'm going to tag here is the Vitola. You didn't have that on the create your own line, but with the information we have in the app, we actually have all the Vitolas listed for the products that we know about. So it actually helps people to be able to go in and to know specifically what they smoked. Was it a Toro? Was it a Robusto? Was it a Lancero? Was it the Bellicoso? Because as you're fully aware, cigars have different flavor profiles, and the cigar experience can be different based on the Vitola. A lot of cigars are blended to a specific Vitola, and that's kind of where the sweet spot of that cigar is. And they create different other Vitolas because they're trying to to reach a different a larger market. But sometimes that smoking experience is different from a Corona to a Toro, because you're going to get a different binder fill or wrapper ratio, one size shape to another.
So for somebody like me who smokes a lot of stuff that you're probably not going to have listed on there, on there. So somebody like me is going to expand out the cigar listing then.
Absolutely, because when we see that in our database, it pings in our database that we have a new cigar added. And so then our staff will go back in and research and be able to actually go in and add that. And so it will definitely expand the list as new cigars are introduced. As you know, this is a very expansive industry. There are a lot of boutique brands, as you know, because you smoke a lot of them, that realistically the mass market doesn't really know about them.
Yes.
Excellent, my friend.
So yes, I tagged you in it. And so
I got a notification
on it.
A couple of here.
And so yeah. Well, yeah, because I am kind of that guy, and again, a lot of people, if you go through a lot of my comments, it's brands that they've never heard of, brands that they've never, and it's like, but that's what I do. I'm out there trying to find the next big gem in the rough.
Right. So as we were talking, I showed everyone the process of tagging people within your friends list. That allows you to just go and kind of scroll down and kind of do a checkbox tag. You can also do an inline tag using the @ function. It works just the same. It just depends on how you like to approach it. I think the tick box for larger numbers is probably a little bit more efficient than trying to tag 50 people in a post. But if you like to tag 50 people in your post, you do you. Okay. So you kind of see that post, and you'll notice that I have 211 total shares, and in this line I've shared it 3 times. Just want to go back to this Cafe Sumatra for just a second. Continue.
Okay. Oh, come on, Henry. I always give a real 505 review.
A real 5. So I'm gonna go to my journal here really quick and pull that back up. So I'm just going to go click on that cigar. Now, what you will see is I've clicked on the Sumatra Cafe, Sumatra by Cafe 1901. You'll see it's got a 5-star rating, 5 reviews, and then just kind of scroll down. You can kind of see the information about the cigar. Wrapper, Ecuadorian, binder, Dominican, filler, Dominican, Nicaragua, Peru. You can kind of see the scroll down of all the vitolas. So if I'm searching for this cigar, this is kind of information I would get. But then below that, you're going to get the information of all the posts or all the shares of that particular cigar.
All right, let's hear Chris. So Chris says he just signed up and he just made a share and added a line. Very easy.
Excellent. I'd like to hear that.
All right, good. Henry here. He goes, you go weigh in when you post. This could be the new platform for you. Oh yeah, of course I go weigh in. Although I don't know how much I want to type. That's
hey. I mean, just get those fat fingers a moving.
Get the fat fingers moving on that. All right, so good. All right.
So I want to bring you here to the cigar journal because you're going to notice something very important at the top. When you click on journal, you have that nice little search journal. You have filters, minimum rating set. So you're able to filter your journal by basically the filters that one would expect. But then you can ask me if I've smoked a cigar. And I can actually go and check that. So I'm going to just say Crux. Have I smoked a Crux?
Henry, I know. I will tell how much I like this. I know, and it will be a book if I go first or second, third. Yeah, no, I don't know if that's something. I don't know if that's something that the Unwrapped people are prepared for.
Hey, we'll rent more server space if it means getting interactive.
All right, so let's see. I saw the notification where you tagged me. Okay.
Yes.
All right, and I gave you a flame.
Excellent. Light me, man. Light me.
Yeah, that's right. I flamed you out there. Okay.
So as I mentioned in the journal, just search. I pulled up Crux here really quick, just so I could kind of show, kind of scrolling through, what that actually looks like. Kind of going back and searching through your journal. So if somebody asks you if you smoked a cigar, if you can actually go and smoke. You can actually go and search in your cigar journal, and that will give you an idea of whether you smoked or not. Now, that's assuming that you're logging your cigars, and some people will log everything they smoke, and some people will log a couple times a week or whatever that is, depending upon what your journaling style is. Sometimes people just kind of want to journal new things or things that they want to remember. And that's the great thing about the app is that you can do pretty much you can treat it however you want to treat it. So the last thing I wanted to show you here is really quickly the groups. And I'm just going to pull up my Sutter Foundation app here and see kind of how it's different. You can see we kind of the board within the app. If you tag the group, it will show up on the board on the feed for the group. But you can also have more general information where you're just posting information, as I mentioned, like a retailer might or a manufacturer might, about information. This is a charity event that I went to here early of last month, and we just posted information about the social hour, and the information about when the doors open for the event. And so you have that nice mix of being able to post the information about the cigars that you're tagging into the group, but you have that ability to actually have a non-share engagement, the ability to post threads and be able to create threads where you're able to comment back and forth. And this is where it doesn't necessarily have to be about a cigar.
Okay.
So again, for kind of the chat around your cigar, your cigar of the evening, be able to tag that up there and be able to tag the group, and then people would be able to interact back and forth about those things. And then, post the information about, your event, or about you going to Dallas, and specifically around, being late on shipping stuff. You'll be able to post that information in the group, and it would be readily available constantly within the app, as opposed to kind of having to go through the Streamlabs chat or, YouTube or something like that.
Okay.
So any other things that I can show you within the app, or any questions that come up before I get off the screen share, so we don't have this big black blob on screen. We can actually see Danny's smiling face.
No one wants to see that.
I can always come back to it, but if
anybody, before he shuts this down, he can always come back to it. If anybody in the chat have any questions in regards to this that he can show off, if you think of something, we can always come back to the screen and he can show it off in person. Can you say that again about not going to YouTube? I don't know.
I was saying about trying to post, or trying to chat with people in the group, going to YouTube or like the Streamlabs chat. You would be able to, for example, a 505 cigar review show, you would be able to have a constant thread where you would be able to, as the host and moderator, to be able to post that information for people to see and to be able to follow.
Okay, so it would be create my own group for like the Monday night show, and a separate group for, or just one for everything about the content. Like okay, Monday night, here's my guest. We're doing the Tuesday night show's back, and here's our guest.
Correct.
Okay.
And again, we're getting close to where that's going to be publicly searchable, and I think that that functionality will be much more readily usable once you have that ability to publicly search and then request entry into a group, as opposed to basically having to send Daniel an email and and asking him to admit you into his group. Although he may not want to invite everybody. I'm just kidding. He'll invite you.
Chris, I found you. I sent you a friend request.
Now, Henry, I'm fully expecting you to get that 100 share ban by next week's show. I think you can do it. I know you can do it.
Wow. Okay. All right. I mean, this is cool. This is cool. I mean, I got it. I mean, it's probably take me just a little bit of time to get it figured out, but it is definitely a nice alternative platform out there for putting out the content and driving people out there. So I dig on it.
Yeah.
There is a good chance he has 100 cigar photos. There's a good chance I have 100 cigar photos too. Let's just look at all the pictures I took last week that I didn't post.
That's gonna be like a death scroll in your photos app, isn't it?
Well, The way I see this is all of the cigars that I smoke out there. I don't post a lot of them, especially the cigars that you know I don't that I don't find for me personally something that I enjoy out there. So I don't post those photos of that. And I think this would be a better alternative for posting out those photos, um, posting up on those photos of the cigars that I won't post on other social media platforms just because they don't meet my standards out there, but to at least give people an idea about the cigar.
Yeah, I think it's important, to share good and bad experiences with cigars. Because I think, and as I mentioned before, the ability to give this feedback to the manufacturers, I think is key. If people aren't genuinely enjoying their product, then they're not going to return as customers. They'll smoke your product once, but if you have consistent construction issues, or the flavor profile of your product isn't what people are liking, then realistically, the customers don't come back. And so we need to help them, we need to help them understand the feedback on their product, to help them curate products that the market actually wants, and the customers want to enjoy, and so that they have not just a one-time customer, they have lifelong customers.
For sure. Well, good. And so, do you go through and see a lot of like the cigar, like I added a cigar you don't have in your portfolio? Do
Hmm.
you go through a lot of those yourselves? You yourself or your team go through it and go, "Oh wow, check that out," or "Look at that," or yeah, that's a legit cigar.
Well, we have a couple guys in our programming team who we task with that, and they will search on the internet and try to find the cigar. I actually we had a cigar posted by someone here very early in the stage, and we power searched on search engines for this particular cigar. We even went back to the person when they posted it, kind of, reached out to them on offline and said, "Where did you get the cigar?" And the only thing that we could surmise is that this was a one-off cigar that someone had basically created a label, maybe for like a wedding or something of that nature, and that he had received one kind of secondhand, but this cigar didn't actually exist in any cigar company's portfolio. This was something that was a unique one-off cigar. Henry asked a question in the chat. Do
Yeah,
you?
do you have a stance on Cuban cigar scammers who prey on social media users, mainly particularly those newer smokers out there, or newer to social media as part of smoking?
Um, can I say rat bastards on your show?
You can say whatever you like, sir.
Yes, I think that they're the rat bastards is a good term. Um, there, I have a lot of opinions on Cuban cigars, but counterfeit and counterfeiting and presenting things as as authentic that aren't authentic. I think it's wrong, regardless of where it is, and especially preying on people who really aren't knowledgeable about it. And we see this significantly around the Cuban cigars, because they are contraband. And the reality is that they hold that mystique of forbidden fruit, and so people will go out of their way to try to acquire them. And it's bad. It's bad for Habanos SA. It's actually bad for the cigar smokers, because that doesn't accurately represent their product.
Well, and I think part of it has to come back down to the education, because people think that, because especially newer smokers, regardless of how old you are, that Cubans are like the begin and end all with cigars, and so that education aspect comes into play. for people out there that, yeah, it may be a forbidden fruit, but you're not missing anything. It's one of those things that when you become a bit more experienced in smoking, try one out and you're going to realize you haven't missed anything. Like for me personally, if I never smoke another Cuban cigar in my life, I'm not missing anything special. I'm not. There's too much other good stuff out there.
The realities are, Daniel, and I think people need to hear this, is that the level of damage that Habanos SA have done to their product, trying to keep up with the global demand, knowing that they've had major hurricanes, they have quality control issues, the cigar the soil nutrition for the tobacco has been severely depleted. That the mystique of Cuban cigars is exactly that. It's mystique. The realities are, apart from probably one or maybe two cigars in a company's portfolio, in a line portfolio, whether that be Cohiba, Monte Cristo, Ramon Alonius, doesn't matter. Even Bolivar and Partagas. The reality is that apart from those one or two lines, they have so depleted the quality of their product that people that people don't realize that mystique doesn't overcome the absolute quality cigars that are coming out of the Dominican Republic, out of Nicaragua, and out of Honduras right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they've kind of did this upon themselves. So
they did.
In reality, they've got nobody to blame. And Henry, you're correct. I'm noticing we have Nicaraguan. That's right. Yeah. I will take a Nicaraguan cigar any day of the week, all day long. I mean, and I'm getting something that is far better. The quality control is better. It's just there, So y'all can go waste your money on Cubans. There are plenty of them out there for you. I'm not one buying it, and I don't actively search them out. If I come across one and I'm like, okay, I may pick one up, but it's few and far between when I do it. It's just, to me, it's not worth the cost to get a cigar that has a very high likelihood of failure. Yeah. Why am I if I'm going to drop $50 on a cigar, well, I'm going to pick up a Padron. I'm going to pick up a Fuente, a Davidoff. I'm going to pick up something that I know is going to perform at its best and is going to give me some sort of enjoyability. I'm not going to pick up a $50 cigar that I end up having to hold it together because the wrapper's falling apart. I got to sit here with a poker and jam it because it's unsmokable. That the burn is so wonky and the tunneling. And I don't want that in a $50 cigar. And it's correct, Chris, a Byron, yeah. I'll take a Byron any day of the week.
Yeah.
Those things. I'm not going to spend, if I'm going to spend $50, I want to have the most enjoyable factor out there I can get in a cigar, and Cubans do not provide that with me. I'm overpaying for, I call it this, I'm overpaying for failure is what I'm getting.
That's a good way to put it. Here's another thing that we are in a unique situation here in the United States, is that we have an abundance of very high quality boutique cigars.
Yes.
And because of the size of our market and the fact that major cigar markets outside the United States have the Cuban cigar market, we get to enjoy all these beautiful boutique cigars. I have friends from Canada who, when they come down from Canada to the United States, aren't missing their Cuban cigars. They're seeking out these very good, excellent boutique brands that, because of the dominance that the Cuban market has and the injustices of the tobacco taxes in Canada, that realistically these smaller brands can't really get into the market, and so they're coming over the border and they're searching out those boutique brands that have high quality. So we kind of think of ourselves as disadvantaged. We're not. We actually get to fill a cigar that's, you're paying for failure or paying
Yeah,
for potential of failure with cigars that we know are going to be of the highest quality and are really blended and constructed to a niche market. And it's a niche market who are really truly aficionados and people who appreciate fine hand rolled premium tobacco.
that's right. Well, I mean, of course, but they're coming from Canada. They're on escaping those massive taxes that they
Yes.
have up there, the ban that they have up there, and they get to enjoy what a real country looks like in America. So I
There
mean,
we go.
you know, that's just how it is. Because we all know Canada's not a real country anyway, out there. I'm just playing to the Canadian watchers out there. I just saw one that popped into our chat from Canada out there. Jay, I'm just joking, brother. I'm just joking. I'm just joking out there.
Well, I mean, but the realities are that that is certainly taken a significant impact on their ability to bring in smaller non heritage brands.
Yeah, it
Brands
has.
they have to fight to get in, and you see you talk about the amount of effort that I'm going through. I see my friends who in these smaller boutique companies that are having to go and invest significant resources in terms of getting the permits necessary to be able to import their products into Canada. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's insane. The let's go through, and I talk to brands about it all the time, and they're just like, "Yeah, we want to go in, but we have to go through this licensing, that licensing. We have to go through this distributor, and then we have to go through this importer to get this in, and the distributor can't be the same cannot be the importer. So we got to go through two of that. Then we got to have these stupid ass bland bands made and put on it. Then we have to go through this inspection process, and I'm just like, bro, at a certain point you just go, is it really worth it?
And then we have this beautiful packaging that will be absolutely ruined by this very large, ugly black and white label. That's if they don't put the color pictures of things that don't really happen with cigars, but they think that happen with cigars.
Yeah, it is. It's insane, and I love my Canadian friends, and man, and they've really cracked down a lot on Canada because I used to ship stuff up to Canada to friends in Canada all the time, and the last two packages I shipped up, they got hammered at customs.
Yep.
And that's never happened before. So I think they have caught on to art supplies.
Yes.
Up there. So I've had to back off a bit on that until I can figure out another way I can try and get stuff to my Canadian friends, because I want them to have the same enjoyability that I have in smoking without the massive costs involved to them, because they shouldn't have to pay that much money for a cigar. It is, and Henry said it's theft. Yes. It's theft out there, and I don't think they should have to go through that. And so to my Canadian friends who are watching, I'm sorry I haven't sent you guys care packages lately because man, the last couple of packages got caught at customs, and so until I can find another way to get you guys stuff up there, it's on a hold for now. And once I can get the art supply issue figured out, it's there, because art supplies work perfect the way that I packaged up the cigars. When they ran it through the X-ray scanner, it looked like markers or pens. Right. It looked like art supplies, so therefore there was never an issue on getting it in. But the last two times, man, it stinks.
They sick the dogs on you.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Henry here, he smoked the La Antiquidad from Garcia Cigars, $14 in Vegas, but when he goes back home to Crookeda, 36.
Well, it looks like Pierre's baby boy is doing very well for himself.
Yeah, so I get it. So people trust me. Uh, the bend don't break for Canada has already broken. Unfortunately, and I think it's a even commodities that are not ATF related in Canada are stupidly insane expensive. Canada has decided. Canada is like a woman who tells you that she's fun. Anytime a woman has to tell you she's fun, she's not. Canada is on the Canada is the truck tire on the larynx of fun, just like a woman is.
Wow. Okay.
They're not fun. If a woman has to tell you she's fun, she's not fun. That is Canada. A woman who's fun doesn't have to say anything. You just know it.
Is that like cigar advertising when they tell you it's a great cigar and you're just like, why do you have to tell me it's a great cigar?
Cheryl, you are fun, and you don't have to tell me you're fun. I just know you're fun. All right, you're not that truck tire. All right, you're not. All right, you're super fun, and I can't wait to see you in a couple days. No, not you, Castro. Cuban Castro. His real father.
His real father. Nice.
His real father. Yes.
El Presidente.
Yes, that's right. Not you, Henry. The other Castro out there, Trudeau's real dad.
Yeah. Yes.
uh,
I just try to be PC and say Pierre's baby boy.
That I can't wait to, Cheryl. It'll be awesome. We're gonna have a great time. That sounded like a Trudeau. Take the fun out of everything. That's right. That's Canada. Takes the fun out of everything.
So I'm wondering if anybody in the chat has any other questions that I haven't answered in Unwrapped that I can answer for you. I want to make sure.
Anybody have any questions? And I've linked everything Unwrapped down in the description. I made it easy for you guys.
Excellent.
Definitely go download this app. All right. I can't wait to play with this app. I can. It looks like fun out there.
Well, it's all about, Daniel. It's all about building community. It's about and sharing your experiences with other people. The reality is that I get half my cigar recommendations from following the feed from the people I follow in the feed, and the reality is that the app is not designed for for things to really go viral. It's designed to be intimate.
Yes, I really get that. That feel, it definitely is there. If you guys download the app, add me as a friend. 505 Cigar Review. Can't miss me. I'm there. I'm all there. I just typed up my profile, so it's there. So you can't miss me. If the lighting sucks on this. So that 505 Cigar Review. James said I'm an industry professional, so that's what I'm listed as.
He's in the industry and has been referred to as professional once or twice. So
I don't know by who. Somebody has, maybe at one point.
Would we do monthly sponsorships for cigar manufacturing promo? Well, that's one of those sticky areas. We are certainly exploring some level of advertising within the app, potentially a pop-up advertising or a banner ad. But we're going to have to be very restrictive in terms of how we approach advertising. We're actually going to create within the app something that we're going to develop in 2025 is going to be business pages for retailers and for brands. And for brand pages is getting their product information, but it's also kind of doing a little bit of consumer education. And then having that back in externally linking or internally linking back to that business page within the app. we have to be very careful about what would be perceived as the facilitation or promotion of the sale of tobacco. We absolutely cannot do it because that, again, that's a violation of the terms of use. You're off the app store. So the advertising would be basically just the would be the tagline for the brand or their brand logo, and then linking back to their product page, their brand page, their product page within the app.
It's such a tricky, walking on eggshells on this, because if you own a retail shop out there and you get something new in and you show it, the App Store could definitely make a case that you're promoting the sale of tobacco, even though you're not technically selling it on there. You're just showing what you have that's new.
Here's the difference between that and the advertising aspects within the promotion within the app, external linking, is that, again, the retailer showing a picture of a box and posting that it's in there in their business page, that is still user curated content. So the user is generating that information and they're sharing it. From an advertising perspective, or to be able to do promotions, that is actually app functionality aspects. So we are the availability of advertising and the ability to show pricing and things like that. Those are things that we do by Section 230 have to moderate, because we are moderating to the actual terms of use of the platform that we're using.
Well, I had to learn the proper way, because on YouTube I can't tell you to go buy something. If I tell you to go buy something, I'm promoting the sale of tobacco out there. But, I can tell you that something's great, and I can tell you that. I can tell you that you can use the links in my bio,
right,
to check out my advertiser sponsors and preferred retail partners. I can't tell you to buy that.
Right.
There are all of these rules that come into play. Now, because I just said all this, what YouTube will probably do in a week is I'll get notification that they age restricted an already age restricted video, which means that they shadow ban this video. Correct. So the only way you'd see this video after a week is if you actively searched it out.
Yes.
That's the only way. However, if you follow me on Rumble, you can go watch this on Wednesday, because it'll be up there, and I can say whatever I want as long as we're not making disparaging comments about somebody or threats. Right. And you can go rewatch it again and help me out and monetize the video. So there you go.
Yeah, and the other part of this is that we want to paint within inside the lines. We may want to get to the gray areas, but we want to paint inside the lines, because whether I agree with Apple or Google in terms of their terms of use, it's their platform. They're the ones that have have done the work to do the preparations. If they want to set that as a terms of use, it's fully within their rights to do that. And as much as I hate it, I have to comply. We have to comply with that. And the question Henry follows up is with Web3 and the potential use, the use of progressive web applications. Yes, we've explored it, but the realities are that native applications have far more functionality, even than the advances that Web3 have brought forward. I've used some of the apps that have been banned from the app stores that have moved to PWA to be moved to other platforms. They just don't function the way the native app used to function, and they're actually really damn frustrating to try to use.
Okay, there you go. Hope that answers your question, Henry.
I'm sorry.
Henry's crushing. Henry's crushing. Henry's one of these nerds.
I'm the bearer of just awful news, and realistically, that's the challenge that we have. We've got to constantly follow the terms of use in terms of any changes that they propose, because that directly impacts how we have to develop.
I think that's probably it's the only way to go. it's an ever evolving, constant change. And as I learned from my 30-day suspension from YouTube, that Google can just create a rule at any time and enact it, even though they have not sent out an updated terms of services. But they can retroactivate that rule any time that they want for any individual, or I guess content creator that they deem as grossly negligent in breaking that rule, which is what they went after me for, which was being a non-monetized channel, monetizing off of non-Google approved advertisers.
Yes.
That wasn't in their terms of services, but they created that rule and then pegged me on it and then suspended me for 30 days so that when my 30 days was up, then that rule took effect for everybody.
When we first started talking about the potential of advertising, one of the groups that I consult with is an online retailer, and their technology director said to me, just looked across the table at me, goes, "It's a great idea. Let us know the cost. We want to start advertising right now." And I said, "Are you talking about the brands, or are you talking about the online cigar retailer?" And he's like, "Oh, no, the online cigar retailer. We think this would be a great platform." And I just had to look back at him and said, "We'll never be able to permit that." And he kind of looked disappointed at me. And I said, the reality is that it is etched in stone. You cannot facilitate or promote the sale of tobacco. And external linking and showing a website, showing a URL to a website to go and buy tobacco, it wouldn't take 4 hours for us to be off the app stores.
No, and you'd probably have to create an off app actual web page to go through, where you have like the Facebook and Instagram app and then the desktop version, with having a desktop version where you could, because you'd own that domain itself, where you could do that type of advertising.
Yeah, that's a completely,
it's a whole other animal. That's the only way you could get around. You could get around doing something like that as well. Yeah, we can have advertising, but it'd have to be strictly on our desktop version.
Yeah, and you've used Instagram both inside the app and in the
it works like trash on the desktop.
The functionality just is garbage.
It's garbage. It's trash.
It's great.
It's not like Facebook.
No.
Yeah. Anybody have any other questions for James before we end out the show tonight? I appreciate James for coming on, showing off the app that I'm now a part of on that, and you guys in the chat crushed it as usual. I appreciate you all coming in and hanging out with us tonight. James, anything you'd like to promote, or any events you're going to be at soon people can link up with yet?
Well, the next big event we're going to be at as a business is we're going to go down to Tampa on the 8th of December at the Ybor City Cigar Heritage Festival. They have returned it to Centennial Park and a free public event. We are hugely excited about that. Of course, we're excited anytime we get to go to Cigar City, mostly because it's probably the most cigar-friendly place on earth. Just the way the community embraces that. So we're excited about that. Being able to see our friends from across the country. Come to PCA. We're members of the PCA. We're at the PCA convention. Unless there's another PCA that I'm not aware of. So
yeah, they'll be there. Yeah, excellent. And make sure you go to your Google Play or Apple store and download the Unwrappd app on there. I think you guys will really enjoy watching on it. I can't wait to dig into it a bit more. I don't know how much time I'll have this week to dig into it, but definitely something I'll dig into.
One thing, Daniel, I do want to show everybody right before we sign off is I want to show one more thing within the app. I kind of glazed over it,
sure,
glossed past it because we were working on getting you up and running here. But and this is very important for the community.
Sure. Out there. Also, people, next week there is no show next Monday, so you will have to just live without me for a week, but we'll be back the following week with my brother, Frederick Brown, from Cyrillic Cigar Accessories. Catch up with him. Love talking with the dude. So that will be a great show. He's beautiful, handcrafted cigar accessories, and it's just going to kind of be a hangout and chill show with a good friend. So that'll be the week after next. All right, go on ahead.
So last thing here under that kind of that search bar is
hey, there I am.
Feedback. There you are. If you click on the feedback, you're gonna notice that we've actually built in a feedback function within this, so I can actually draw on the app there, and I can send type questions and feedback inside the app. We want user feedback in the app. We want to know what you like and what you don't like about it, what a functionality you're looking for. So if something doesn't look like it's something doesn't function the way you think it should, or you have an idea, please give us feedback. The other thing I'll show you just really quick is the editing of a post, of a share. Let's see here. Go back here, journal. Go here and get rid of that, because people are going to ask this. They're going to make a mistake, and they're going to ask me how I do it. So I click on my post, and then you're going to notice in the upper right hand corner there's a very light gray hamburger right above the tip of the cigar, kind of the upper right hand corner, right below the icon, or my user icon. So if I click on that, then I can edit the share or delete it. So within the editing functionality, I can go in and add photos.
Okay.
Or I can go in and I can edit my comments, or I can tag friends, change the Vitola, whatever I need to do within that. And then when I'm done, all I have to do is update it. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that to everybody, because I'm sure everybody's going to get it right the first time, but the third time they try it, they're like, how did I do that again? And I didn't want to leave without showing people that.
Excellent. There you go. Awesome. But this was an awesome show. Oh, man. This was so great to catch up with you. If anybody's going to be in Dallas for Dallas Smoke Fest, come find me. I will be around somewhere doing something. So I'll be there all week. So can't wait to get there and escape the snow that's coming and the cold. So they're all complaining about it being in the 70s, and I'm like, that's like perfect.
You'll be back in shorts. You'll be back in shorts and sandals by then.
I'll be in shorts. I'll tell you that much. This was great. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. And hope you download the app. Make sure you connect with James. I've linked everything Unwrapped and James down in the description. So if you got any questions, problems, comments, or concerns, you can shoot him a message, and he can get you the answers that you're looking for.
And definitely share with your friends. Let them know. Get out the word. Get them on the app, so then you can have those digital conversations. You can have those digital conversations in the app.
Excellent. Thank you so much, James, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you guys.
Daniel. Let's do it again sometime soon.
Oh, yes, sir, for sure. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys. I'll see y'all in week after next with another show. So take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything James and I wouldn't do, because we're sweet and innocent boys. And we will catch you later, everybody.